All right. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to Throwing Bows. I am Jose. I am here with John
Hey, what's up, everybody?
and Maria.
Hey y'all, what's going on?
All right. Before we get into it, we are going to take care of some business. Please hit the like and subscribe button down below us.
Bam!
Leave
Hulk
comments.
smash!
Like, subscribe, leave comments. If you have more comments that just won't somehow fit in there, or you just have some general questions about life or fights, please find us at Bows Throwing on Twitter. That is our Twitter handle. That is the only two places you can find us. Is you leave the comments either here on YouTube or you go to Twitter handle at Bows Throwing. That's us. You'll find us. We are constantly on that thing. We would love to hear from you. The spicier the comments, the better. So, with that being said, you have watched hopefully our co-main event, where we were talking about the co-main event for UFC 257, and now we're about to jump into the main event. And so, jumping into the main event, unless you were living under a rock, you would know that this was McGregor Poirier. This had been talked about, like, just everybody was losing their mind since November when they thought that this thing was going to be booked or possibly fought in December. Uncle Dana said, give me some time. Let me put this up in a great place. Let me make this a red panty night for everybody. Let me make sure I get my money. Uncle Dana was absolutely right. Uncle Dana now has another high-ranking Conor McGregor card in which he basically just drove the truck back to the bank and just said, just put the money in and I'll just drive away with it. So kudos to Uncle Dana for making some money. But there were some big implications for the lightweights, as we had talked about with the co-main event. And this main event, while it didn't help completely clear up the picture, we started getting some less fuzziness at the bottom of the picture. As we will later talk about, I think we're starting to definitely get some clarity about how the current champ, Habib, is starting to feel about what his future is going to be. These 4 fights all were going to help out the picture of who would either be fighting Habib or who was going to be getting a title shot at Habib. And so with that, let's get right into it. Poirier and McGregor, they start the fight. It's McGregor's landing some good shots. Poirier is trying to slow him down. He's feinting. He's kicking. He's putting up some jabs. He's throwing some stuff. It's not really phasing Conor too much at this point. Takes him down, but Conor's able to get back up. They do some grappling, exchanging along the cage. They are doing some dirty boxing. At one point, McGregor shows that nice little shoulder that he has started learning how to do since that basically put Donald Cowboy Cerrone out. And he puts him up against the cage and he starts hitting him with the shoulder. Dustin takes 1 or 2 of those and then switches the position. So it definitely looked like this was not going to be a situation for Conor where he was going to be able to push him around like he did at featherweight. Dustin is obviously built for 55. Don't know if Dustin is ever supposed to go up to welterweight. I don't think that that's the right build for him. But 55 is probably right where this man lives. This is his wheelhouse. This is not the featherweight 45. If you listen to Mike Brown talk to Josh Thompson earlier that week, he basically confirmed it. He was basically saying, like, look, I think that when they fought at featherweight, that wasn't Dustin's weight class. It just wasn't. He is a lightweight. He's not a featherweight. And so we continue going on. We get into the second. You could see that Poirier wanted to basically weather the McGregor storm of the first round and get into the second. He comes out. He just starts going to town on the leg kicks. And, I mean, these calf kicks, it's something that ATT is known for. And if you watch Mike Brown fighters in particular, it is something Mike Brown loves. Joanna Jędrzejczyk was a fighter before Mike Brown got her. And then Mike Brown got her. And then she became just this. It looked like he helped her put all the pieces together. You would get a 4 combo hit by Joanna, starting with a jab, a right, a calf kick, and then she would come out with another kick to the body or to the head. So if you know anything about Mike Brown, you know he believes in using all the tools at your disposal. And so I'll start this off by saying this. For me going into this fight, it was very much Mike Brown and ATT facing off against SBG, John Kavanaugh, Roddy, those guys. It was going to be who's going to have the better game plan. Now, I am a huge Mike Brown believer. I love Mike Brown. I think Mike Brown is the greatest coach doing it right now. You could just watch on Twitter right now. And so basically what happens is Mike Brown comes up with a game plan. He tells them we're going to leg kick him. We're going to slow this down. And basically towards the middle of the second and coming up to the close to the end, Poirier unleashes this kick. Conor cannot put any more weight on this front leg. He can't throw off. And so Poirier finishes him off with punches, but Conor was a lame duck. And everybody loses their mind. So we're gonna go with you, Maria. Any thoughts on the fight? Did you think it was gonna end like this? Did you think that Poirier would get him out there like that?
No. I mean, it was the ending that I hoped for. I'm lying. I like both of these fighters. I think coming into this season, I definitely favored Poirier over Conor. I really thought that it was going to be a situation where if it finished early, Conor would win, and if they went 5, Dustin would win. That's how I had approached this fight with anybody that I had spoken to. When the fight started, to your point, as soon as Dustin shot that first takedown in the first round, I kind of perked up like, oh, okay, this is different. They've got a plan. They're not just going to go in there and try to stand and bang with him, which is probably for the best. But then as the fight unfolded, those leg kicks, I mean, 38% of his striking were those calf kicks. He destroyed Conor's leg, by Conor's own admission, if you even watch the post-fight. So I think it was a fantastic game plan. I think I would have been happy either way as long as it was a good, entertaining fight. I wish it was longer, quite honestly, because even in the striking, as crisp of a striker as Conor is, Dustin was holding his own. It wasn't like there was this lopsided performance where, well, Dustin just got lucky because he took his legs out. No. I mean, if you look at the strike count, there was only like, I think a two strike difference between them going into round 2. And even at that, their percentages are very close. Dustin joked about it in the post fight, but you really could not take credit away from his boxing in this fight. He looked good. I just wish it would have gone longer. I wanted more of that fight, but I think it was a fantastic fight.
Okay. John, any first reactions, any thoughts, anything like that?
I think Dustin's boxing looked great. It looked phenomenal, and we really shouldn't be shocked. Shouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, Dustin has shown, outside of Habib, he's the guy. He's it. So he's the A-side. So if you're looking at contender number 1, it's Dustin. And then I wouldn't put Gaethje in there again, because I mean, no. Charles Oliveira, by all accounts, yes. And we've all seen my previous hot take in the other video about it, so I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, so, yeah, I agree. I think that basically what happens is that this helps put some things to rest, but it doesn't, like, you're starting to see the picture get, like put out, right? And so, at the end of the fight, McGregor is laying there. You can tell he's stunned, but he's not getting up because he's necessarily just out of it. He can't get up because, in his own words, his leg was dead. Poirier had leg kicked that front leg to the point where the man couldn't feel it. By his own admission in the post conference, in the post fight conference, he said that it literally swelled up to a football. And if you listen to Poirier afterwards, he says, he was trying to check him, but you could tell he had never had anybody chop his legs down like that because he didn't rotate it enough where I was getting shin. I was still hitting enough of the meat that it was only a matter of time. I think that if gone long enough, it would have only continued to have gotten worse. I am not going to say that I thought that it needed to go 5 rounds, because honestly, McGregor wouldn't have been walking by the end of the third. It was obvious. It was a game plan. It would have looked as bad as, if you remember, when Aldo was chopping down Uriah Faber's legs, and Faber couldn't even walk. By I think that was like a 5-rounder. He couldn't even walk by the middle of the third. It was just a game plan. The game plan was executed. It's one thing for Mike Brown to have it, but kudos to Dustin Poirier for putting it and implementing it. What I will say is this: now that we begin, Habib is out, and so if you watched our previous one, we're gonna say this. Let's send the great one on his way. He's done. He wants to go be his dad. He wants to go build. He wants to go get these guys out. He wants to honor his mother. His mother doesn't want him fighting anymore, and he doesn't want to dishonor his mother. That's not where he's at anymore. He wants to let these Dagestanis come out, and he wants to do for them what his dad was already doing. He's trying to do something for legacy here. He doesn't want your money, Dana, so please stop trying to throw money at him. So if you listen to Dana, he started the post fight for 257. Dana gets on. He says, listen, I spoke with Habib. He's pretty much the only guy I spoke with. And he laid it on me. He said, Dana, be honest with yourself. And what's there for me to come back for? And so Dana kind of used the hodgepodge of what Habib said at the end of that night, and then what he had said previously. And he basically said, like, listen, Habib said he didn't want to hold up lightweight. This is on me. I'm holding up lightweight right now because I wanted one more. Okay, now that you acknowledged it, that's step 1. Thank you for coming to your therapy session. Guess what step 2 is in the work that you need to do? Dr. Jose is here to help you. Let it go, bro. Let it go. He's not coming back. He's not walking back through there, and Conor McGregor is obviously not up to snuff with Poirier. What you're starting to see is the cream is starting to rise to the top. Poirier is starting to be the creme. He is starting to be that guy. And right now, you need to put Oliveira with that. So with that being said, Maria, let's start on. So let's go ahead and let's take the pig to the slaughterhouse. Who does Poirier get for the belt? Who should he fight?
Can I just add one thing right before I answer that question for you? To clarify for both you and John, when I said that I wish there would have been more, not necessarily I wish there would have been more of Conor just getting his leg chopped, because to your point, there's no way it could have continued to go on like that. I just meant in general the fight. I felt like they looked good fighting each other. It was entertaining. It was technical. And those are the types of fights that I want to see go 5 rounds, not somebody running from somebody else for 3 out of the 4 rounds, or some of the things that we've seen other champions and greats do. And I'll just leave that at that. Like I've said previously, if you guys have watched our other videos, you know how I feel about this. I feel like Oliveira right now is the only option. Right is right, fair is fair. Look at the top of that division. He's the only one that really hasn't had a shot, hasn't blown a shot. He's done everything right. Now, whether or not I think he can beat Dustin, that's a different story. I think that if Uncle Dana says we're going to make this fight, I think that Dustin walks away the undisputed. No doubts. I would even put money on that fight, but I still think it's the right fight to make. And I think that if anybody in the top of that division could surprise us, it would be Oliveira.
Okay. All right. Doubling down on that. John, are you going to double down on your previous statement?
Oh, of the Chandler hype train? Yeah, there's the sensible fan in me is saying Oliveira, but I mean, looking at the top 15 right now, I mean it's Oliveira, Chandler, Gaethje, but Gaethje already got beat. So maybe on that same card you do a Poirier Oliveira co-main Gaethje Chandler, and the winners of those,
I like
the
that.
winners of
That's a
those
good look
fight
right
each
there.
other.
I like that. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go a little bit harder on this one. I was thinking about it. I actually do want Poirier Chandler first. And I want Poirier Chandler first, and here's the reason why I want Poirier Chandler.
Come here, boy.
We already have a slew of fights coming, man. He's booked Stipe and Gano. He's giving you burnt. Let's have one. Let's have one that's just pure money. Not necessarily deserved. Let's just get
Whoa, stop. We're gonna get that. We're gonna get that when we get Jones, either Stipe or Ngannou, because Jones has no fucking business fighting for the heavyweight strap his first fight. So you're already getting that. How much more candy do you want, Jose?
I want all the candy. I want the Twix piled up on top of the Reese's Pieces, piled on top with the M&M. Listen, I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time, okay? And so I'm not going to lie to you. Unless you're telling me Oliveira is going to develop some type of, mic game in the next 2 months, which, let's be honest, even after the Ferguson fight, that was not a mic game. Is he probably the logical choice? Absolutely. Is that something that I'm probably going to watch? Absolutely. Now, does it get my goat the way that Michael Chandler had already started showing that, hey, I don't mind talking a little shit. I'll sell a fight. Uncle Dana can only do so much for you. You got to have some personality. Now, listen, all that being said, right thing in my heart is Oliveira should fight Poirier. That's probably going to be what Poirier wants to see. He doesn't really have interest in fighting Chandler, and if you watch the post-fight, that's what Poirier says. Poirier says, I've done this for too long. I'm going to say something that's a hot take. And I don't mean this at all disrespectfully, because I think he can go down as a GOAT of the lightweights.
Yeah.
Fuck your feelings. Yeah. Fuck your feelings, Poirier.
You know, when you say that, that's what it means.
At the end of the
You're
day.
about to be
All
disrespectful.
right? There could have been a lot of other fights Uncle Dana could have made for McGregor. Everybody wants the red panty night. And Uncle Dana, he's going to look at the numbers. He's going to go back. Apparently on Tuesdays is when they start thinking about fights. And I'm telling you right now, what sells? That's good old country boys just slanging and banging in Las Vegas in the Apex. Woo! Man, you can have Jimmy Dean sausage. Basically promote that. That's where I'm at, and I'm out.
There are times where I listen to my co-host and I feel like the luckiest woman in the world to have two such great friends that we can have these conversations with. And then there are other times that I listen to these boneheads open their mouths and I want to stab my eardrums out. This would be the latter and not the former. Guys, Jose, I can give you what you want. Listen to Auntie Maria's matchmaking here, all right? You let Oliveira and Poirier, who should be fighting for the strap, fight for the strap. Then you make a whole separate, don't even do it as a co-main event. Do a whole separate pay-per-view where, there are two types of reality TV. You've got documentaries, which are educational, but they're reality. And that's what I would consider Oliveira versus Poirier. And then you got that trash. I'm talking about that 90-Day Fiance, all that shit that you just can't turn away from. And to me, that is Chandler versus Ferguson on the mic. Do that. Put those two, because Chandler's got mic skills, and Ferguson is pretty much the ultimate warrior of the UFC. Have you heard every time a mic is put in front of this man's hands, the only person that gives you more gold is Mike Perry. That's what it is. Put them two against each other. I think that they both have the skills to sell a pay-per-view, make it for the number one contender, and let them do what they do. But please, do not tarnish Khabib's legacy by making a Chandler Poirier fight when I think 99% of real fans know that Chandler has no business fighting for the strap yet. And I'm not sure that it would even really sell the way that you would want it to sell, because while Chandler has mic skills, he ain't Conor.
John?
All right, I'll wrap it up with this. You know, I'll keep it. You know, I've already said what I said. What I think will happen. I the one thing that won't be denied is the fact that we win no matter what happens, what fight lineups happen as fans. Because I think we could all see all of these options play out possibly, depending upon who's available and ready to go. So, like I said, I just want to see it. I just want to see it. I'm down to see some great fights happen, and I think that's what we'll have with this division. I think it'll a clearer picture will start to be set here shortly.
No,
it's
absolutely.
Clearly.
So, 30 seconds. All right.
It's
So in your scenarios, then Conor still wants to fight. He wants to come back. Who does Conor fight, John?
Who does Conor fight if he comes back? I think this sets the stage for Nate Diaz.
So we get Mr. Diaz to come out. And Maria?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I mean, Conor is coming back. I have no doubt about that. I think Nate Diaz makes sense while the rest of the top of the division figures some things out, and then we reassess after he beats Diaz to see whether he gets the rubber match at that point with Dustin or who else he gets. My quick 15 seconds, while we're going to miss the Eagle, this division is going to be just fine. Because there are fighters, there are savages in here, and I too cannot wait to see what the rest of the year puts in for the lightweights.
So I'll say I would like to see. Obviously, if you're doing it right, it should be Poirier versus Oliveira. I would say it needs to be Chandler versus Gaethje, and then I would say that frees up Ferguson versus McGregor, and so then we could see. I mean, listen, Ferguson has a lot of tools, but Ferguson would love to keep it standing, and that's exactly where Conor would like the fight to be. And so, yeah, I wrap all that by saying, I would say this cautionary tale for Uncle Dana. You may enjoy the spoils and the spoils and just the embarrassment of riches you have now, but you also need to remember Dustin Poirier, I think, is 32. Conor is 32. I think Oliveira is starting to get up there. Like, he has some guys, but they're already in their 30s, I think. Most fighters that you want to see, at least for your top of your ranks, unless their name is, unless they're a Brazilian who is killing other middleweights, you really don't like to see a lot of guys dominating your division at 40 years old, or at least 38, 39 years old, unless you're Anderson, Spider, Silva. So what I will say is this. Uncle Dana, this is great that you got all this at lightweight, and this is a great time to be alive, but you better make sure that you're not robbing that cookie cupboard bare, because you better start filling in some guys at the bottom. I mean, you're starting to see he's starting to get a lot of young talent in some of his other divisions. You're going to need to start doing that with lightweight pretty soon. Dustin Poirier isn't getting any younger. Oliveira's not getting any younger. Gaethje's not getting any younger. Ferguson is showing he's not getting any younger. And Conor's not getting any younger. If I'm Dana, eventually you're going to have to sit down and think, what is this long-term goal? Because Dustin can take me only so far, maybe 2 to 3 more years. But then I better have a young, fresh lion to come in that has fought all the other young, fresh lions, and I can say this is going to be the guy to take it for the next 5 years. So we'll see who that guy is going to be. Maybe we haven't seen him yet. Maybe he's not in the UFC. We'll see. But Uncle Dana better have a plan for lightweight. Otherwise, it will not look good. So yeah. John, any final thoughts?
No, you pretty much hit it all right there. I mean, you threw the El Kukui in there, so I mean that was one that I hadn't thought about. So I'm just ready to see whatever
Awesome.
they
And
give
Maria,
us.
what do you got?
I'm ready to see it happen.
Yeah, I was going to agree with John. Just when I thought you were insane, you threw out that Okukui Connor, and it's like, damn it, man, that's a good one, and I'm kind of jealous I didn't think of it first, but I think that would be a very intriguing fight to watch. Yeah, it's an exciting time, and even though the top 5, I think the youngest is Oliveira at 30. These guys are showing that, they're taking better care of themselves. They can get up to 37, 38 before you start seeing that age really start kicking their asses. So Uncle Dana, I think, has a couple of years, but you're right. He's got to get some young guys in there. So I agree with you.
Okay. I mean, I will take that. I will say some of these guys, last thing is, they've been through some wars. This is different. Anderson Silva wasn't good. Anderson Silva was having fights where he wasn't getting hit. So you can see Anderson Silva going to 36, 37 at his almost like saying that's his peak. Anderson Silva was almost having fights where he wasn't getting touched. Anderson Silva could have fought once a week at keeping that up. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. That being said, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Again, hit like and subscribe down below. Any spicy comments, please leave them right underneath. Again, we said it once and we said it once. We'll say it again. If you're not sure yet and you want to slow date us, go ahead and leave the comments first, see how we come back, and then if you like us after that, please take us home to meet mom and dad. We would love to meet the parents. But if you also want to take it just a little bit slower and feel us out, please follow us or just write a comment to us at Bows Throwing. That is our Twitter handle. Again, at Bows Throwing, and that's all we got to say. Peep us on our channel though. Throughout this week, we have LFA 98 coming out on Friday. There will probably be a really quick blurb about that when we're together, but there's going to be probably at least 1 or 2 breakout segments from at least one of us, 2 of us, 3 of us. I know John says he has something nice that he would like to talk to you about. I know Maria's going to have her own little breakout one. I also will have a breakout one as well, which we may go a little bit deeper into something that wasn't the main event or co-main event. So, we got content for you. And content and content and content. So, thank you guys. Have a great week. If we do not see you before LFA 98, we will catch up with you again.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good one, guys.
Absolutely. See you next time.